So today we're back on Elsa, the Volvo 740, and we're going to do the automatic transmission fluid, kind of. Now, on this transmission, when I first got the car, the fluid was nice and fresh looking. Just recently it started to darken slightly. It has been on my list to change the fluid for quite some time, but I never got round to it. And now it's starting to look a little bit darker than it used to. It still looks okay on the dipstick, but we need to change it because preventative maintenance, like they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that is couldn't be more true when it comes to automatic transmissions. The problem with doing a complete flush is sometimes you can create more problems. The transmission can be totally fine. You can flush this fluid out of the system, replace it with new, and then you can have problems with the transmission afterwards. It might slip, it might be hard shifts, it might bang, it might have all kinds of different problems. And that's especially the case if the transmission has been neglected. If it's an old transmission and the fluid wasn't changed at the recommended intervals, then changing the fluid can actually create problems. When you put the fresh fluid in and when you flush it, there's debris that gets moved around in the transmission. It gets removed from certain parts of the transmission where it was actually helping the transmission, and then it also can get put into places where it shouldn't be and cause problems. So yeah, you can create more problems for yourself. So I am going to do 2 or 3 changes, oil changes, fluid changes, quite close together. So I'll change it now. I'll drop out those 2 litres or however much we can get out, replenish it with fresh fluid, drive it for a bit, and then in some weeks or months, maybe on the next oil change or at some other stage in the not too distant future, I'll drop another 2 litres and put another 2 litres fresh in so that we essentially renew the fluid in stages. So front end's up a decent amount, so at least the transmission is tilted slightly, so that should help get everything out. This is the smallest drain plug ever. So I've got a mostly clear tub so we can see exactly what's come out of it. It's a shame I did take it for a run, but it's not properly warmed through. The car did get up to operating temperature, but it takes quite a lot longer for the transmission to get nice and warm, doesn't it? She feels quite cool, to be fair. Oh well, not to worry. I think so far we don't even have 2 litres, so hopefully it runs for quite a bit longer. So we've just got a trickle there. So I'm going to put the plug back in. Just finger tight. And we'll have a look at this fluid. So the fluid actually looks quite bad here in the jug. Looks really dark, doesn't it? Which is funny because on the dipstick, it really doesn't look bad at all. It doesn't look as cherry red as when I bought the car 2 years ago. When I first got it, it was literally, it would look like brand new ATF. And it stayed like that for a very long time, but it seems to be just recently, admittedly I didn't check it for a few months to level, but recently checked it and I thought, okay, now it's starting to turn and it's just a slightly darker red, not quite as cherry red as it used to be. But now looking at it in the pan, it looks a lot darker. But I think that's how it goes, isn't it? Let's see how it looks in a glass jar or milk bowl. Actually looks brown. Now I'm going to leave it to sit for at least 24 hours, maybe more, because it's going to keep draining itself from the torque converter into the oil pan. And once we take out that bung tomorrow or the day after, we're going to get quite a lot more out, I hope anyway. That's the theory. So I will just probably measure what's come out of here just because I'm curious. So we got 900 mil there. Haynes manual said I'd get 2 litres exactly out of it. Not even that at the moment. Okay, so we've got 1.8 litres. So here's hoping we get more than just a couple 100 ml out of it tomorrow when it's cold. It's probably going to be that way, isn't it? And yeah, 2 litres is really a bit of a drop in the ocean compared to the overall capacity of the transmission. But yeah, a couple of changes, 2-3 changes, quite close together, and I think that'll do it. So 2 days later, let's see what we've got. Another litre at least would be nice. It's gonna be like 3 drops, isn't there? Well, it's still a fair amount, isn't it? Probably half a litre, or if that. It's definitely worth doing, we can say that. It was definitely worth leaving it for those couple of days. So if we have a look at the Haynes manual, and you can see there from a drain and fill actually get a lot more out of the AW, more than half. But from the ZF, only 2 litres. So we've got 3 times 9 now, haven't we? So what's that? 2.7 litres. So I've decided to go with this stuff, liquid moly. Got the 2 litres in there, so I'll start it up, run it, and then check the level with it running whilst adding the other sort of 0.7 of a litre or so. So there we go. I put in about 2.7 litres, which is what I took out. It's showing between the minimum and the maximum at 40 degrees, which it must be there or thereabouts. I suppose it's even a little bit colder than that, isn't it? So yeah, it could be okay. I don't want to overfill it, so we'll just leave it there for now. I'll take it for a drive. We need a nice supermarket car park, flat surface. So I took it for a test drive and it shifts really nice and smooth, but it always did. But the good thing is we didn't make anything worse, so that's always a win, isn't it? Thanks for watching.